sometimes when I sleep, I dream about it, about the war here. People getting shot, and I keep thinking, what bullet is marked for me? Is it real, or did I just dream about it?
A lonely island in the Pacific, Iwo Jima. It would be the Marine Corps' bloodiest battle. It would also be the toughest test for one of America's secret weapons. Not a gun or a bomb, but an ancient language spoken only by a people called the Navajo.
That at this place called Iwo Jima, all of those
50 years after the battle, over 1,000 veterans, American and Japanese, have returned to commemorate one of World War II's most deadly killing grounds.
Utmost loyalty and selfless dedication, and many gave their utmost here.
Marine Corps veteran Sam So was a code talker, one of the Navajo whose voice held the keys to victory at Iwo Jima. A 100 years before the war, these canyons were the battlefield, and the Navajo's adversary not a people from across the Pacific, but the United States itself. Legend holds that their warriors used a secret language on raids against their enemies. Even after they were confined to the reservation, the Navajo held proudly to their culture, their language, and their lands. Today, their herds still roam a reservation that stretches across parts of 3 southwestern states. And men like Sam So grew up in a remote Navajo world.
My father doesn't speak English, and I didn't speak English at all. I would say maybe I was either 9 or 10. And at the time, I have never seen a white man or woman. I have never seen a house at all.
But for Sam and his generation, Navajo traditions were under attack. Children from the reservation were being sent to schools where the words and ways of the white man were forced upon them.
You were restricted from talking your native tongue. You were to speak English only. You pick up those little pieces.
Keith Little also served as a code talker. Like Sam, he was born to the Navajo language but schooled in a foreign tongue.
You can't converse in English when you don't know the language to begin with. So you walk around, being like I guess a blank person. But you have to get your message across some way. Your talking Navajo was reported to your superior. Anyway, you were punished one way or another.
But these young men and their language, the heart of the culture the white man tried so hard to wipe out, would help turn the tide in the Pacific War. Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor crippled the Pacific Fleet. As American forces fought back, they discovered that the enemy could crack our codes and read battlefield messages almost at will. A new, unbreakable code had to be found. Convinced that Navajo-speaking signalmen would baffle Japan's best code breakers, the Marine Corps turned to the reservation for recruits.
When you become a Marine, you have to, if your sergeant tells you to jump in the lake, you jump in the lake. You can't say simplified, always faithful.
Keith Little and Sam So have met to share memories in Navajo fry bread. Many traditions still thrive on the reservation, but the Navajo tongue, like memories of the Pacific War, is strongest for older generations.
When you first joined the Marines, did you guys know you'd become code talkers?
Well, for me, I didn't have any idea that I would be joining the Marines at all. All I know is I got drafted.
My birthday was March the 4th. And when that March the 4th came, I became 17 years old and I hustled to the Marine Corps recruiting station.
On the reservation, Navajo men, young and old, were lining up to fight for America, despite their bitter history.
All I know was that this is our land. When I heard it was being bombed, being attacked by some enemy, then that didn't set too well with me.
In all, nearly 4,000 Navajo left the world of the reservation to join a world at war. Some 400 would serve as code talkers with the U.S. Marines. From Guadalcanal to Okinawa, the Navajo signalmen strung phone lines. They hauled field radios and fought on the front lines. Yet in all, nearly 4,000 Navajo left the world of the reservation to join a world at war. Some 400 would serve as code talkers with the U.S. Marines. From Guadalcanal to Okinawa, the Navajo signalmen strung phone lines. They hauled field radios and fought on the front lines. Yet of all their duties, none was more crucial than turning their language into secret words of war. Subtle tones and complex structures make Navajo all but impossible for outsiders to understand. On the battlefield, it made an unbreakable code. The Marines' warrior language started with the English alphabet. Common Navajo words stood for individual letters, and the code talkers simply spelled out the messages.
We sent it as a code, and then it'll be received on the other end as a regular message. Like if I talk to him from here, and my commanding officer gives me a message, a plain endless message, and I sent it in Navajo code, and Sam will write it down on the other end as plain English as I got it from my commanding officer.
If it's in Navajo, the other guy will say, message for Arizona. That means they want a Navajo code talker to receive the message.
To confuse the enemy further, they played word games and used metaphors.
We call rockets, ground boiler. When they hit the ground, it's like the ground is boiling. This is rocks flying all over. Hand grenade, namasi, potato. Yeah. Tahiti means hummingbird in English. We used to call that fighter plane.
Hummingbirds and iron fish, ground boilers and potatoes. On an island called Iwo Jima, Navajo would be the language of war. February 19th, 1940.